Is up, everybody? My name is Kyle and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. Today's video, probably already read the title, it's yet another houseplant tour. We're focusing on a different genus. Hopefully you're not sick of these. If it's your first time seeing me, hopefully this means you'll go check out the other ones. But today I wanted to walk you through all of the ficus in my home. I don't have a ton of ficus in the house. They're great plants. I love them. We'll talk about it as we walk through the house and see where they're living. But I find them a little tricky. I have my own personal hangups with care and, I guess frankly, my ability to care for them. But yeah, overall, I love the genus. I have a handful of them here in the house. So much like the Hoya, much like the Dracena, much like the philodendron. Now we're moving on to, what are we doing again? Oh yeah, we're doing ficus again. So yeah, when it comes to care, the first thing you'll notice as we're walking through the house is all of the ficus in my home are next to south-facing windows. So in my experience, ficus love a ton of light. That's how they grow best. I keep them all pretty close to a south-facing window. And yeah, that's like the one big care, I guess, requirement for me when it comes to caring for ficus is that I keep them in all my south-facing windows. So yeah, I'm rambling. I don't know a ton about ficus. We'll talk about that as we walk through the home. But yeah, just want to do a little intro. Say hi to Sandwich, everyone. She's already bored of me. We've shot this intro a few times. So yeah, let's just move on to the tour. Okay, let's get going. So just like the philodendron tour, let's start here in my front room. And before we get going, say hello to Sandwich again. She just had dinner, so she's chilling. But like I mentioned in the intro, all of my ficus are here along south-facing windows in my home. So I just want to start over here and we'll work our way along. This is a Ficus Shivereana. I think I said that right. It is a type of Ficus elastica. So rubber plant or rubber tree is, I believe, the common name for it. I already mentioned this. I don't know a ton about ficus. Correct me along the way. But this is a Ficus Shivereana. I used to have two, but I gave one away as a gift. I'm trying to downsize a little bit and give away doubles and stuff like that. So yeah, I love this Ficus elastica more so than like the other variegated versions, spoiler alert, and just some of the other more common versions. But the mottled variegation on this thing is super cool. Every leaf is really different. Sometimes you get this sectoral variegation on it. Other times you get this really splashy, mottled kind of look, almost like somebody sprayed a paintbrush against it, kind of fan the bristles at it. But yeah, I really like this one. I think we'll talk hang-ups along the way, right? I think one of my hang-ups with ficus can be illustrated right here in that ficus is small plants. This one's in a 4-inch pot. It's just not my favorite way to admire a ficus. I feel like they're the best served when they're big statement plants, when they're really grown out, when they're kind of tree-like, and when we'll talk about this a little bit later, when they branch out. So this one's a bit small. You can see the height of it now in the 4-inch pot. Like I said, I love all the variegation on it, but it's just not the statement that I think it can be if it's, the size of a small tree or if it had branched out. But yeah, that's the Ficus Shivereana. Let's move on to the one that I already spoiled. This is a different Ficus elastica. This is the Tineke. There's another spoiler over there on the left if you look ahead. But this one was really popular, I feel like a couple years ago. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I was a little late to the game on this stuff. But when I saw this plant originally, I was stoked. I picked it up. I like the variegation on the plant. I will say that before I get into it. It's really interesting. It's cool variegation. I like this one more than the ruby version. With the ruby version, there's pinkish in the white cream. I don't know if that fades over time, but I like the OG more than the ruby. Here, we'll get a different shot while I talk. But I have a ton of plants in the house, and this type of variegation, I find just doesn't mesh well with all the other green. To me, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. I've seen large versions of this plant that are branched out, that are kind of standing on their own as like structural tree kind of plants in a home, and that looks awesome. But as it's kind of mixed in here with the rest of my plants, I don't really love how it mixes in with everything. So yeah, this is one that I may be giving away just to open up some prime real estate. But before you give me grief for just giving the plants away, I mean, I guess it's my plant, I can do what I want with it. But I did try to get this plant to branch. So I mentioned on the Shivereana that when the elasticas branch and they're more like trees, I like them a lot more. I had actually cut this one. You can see where I cut it. Try to use my finger right there. I had tried to cut this one to encourage branching, and it didn't work. Instead, it just put off another branch just slightly at a different angle. You can't really see it on the stem, but I also tried, oh, you can. I tried notching it right there also to make it branch. And my last ditch effort, if I don't give this one away, I can't remember where, but I did see that if you actually like lay a ficus on the ground, it should start to branch, because I'm not going to get scientific because I don't know, but the plant can tell, I believe, its orientation from like the sky. So if you have the plant laying down, it encourages the branches to come off of what will eventually be the side of the plant when you stand it back up. I cannot attest to that working. It's just something I'm going to try this spring and in the summer, but I probably didn't describe that right. Essentially what I'm getting at is the rubber trees are just going to keep growing straight up as like a single stalk because they can tell which way is up. And even if you cut it back, the growth is likely going to just grow straight back up again because of gravity. So if you cut the plant and or lay the plant on its side, what I heard is that it will branch out. So this is a chance for you to get in the comments and tell me that I am completely wrong, or to tell me that there's some validity to what I'm talking about. But yeah, Ficus, elastica, Tineke, really cool variegation, just doesn't mesh well with, all the green and plants in my house. I feel like it sticks out like a sore thumb a little bit. But if you don't think so, please let me know. Okay, let's move on. Like I said, I don't have a lot of ficus, so I can spend a little bit more time on each one of these. This one is a cool one. This is the Ficus altissima. It's also called the council tree, and you can't really tell because it's night, but there's some light variegation on it, and this one's getting pretty close to needing watering. So the leaves actually for me do always kind of look a little droopy, but this one is going to need some water soon, so I recognize that. But you can see a bit of the variegation. It's darker green, especially back there. It's darker green on the inside and then lighter green on the outside. I've seen this plant with way more pronounced variegation. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. This is about the best light that I can give it in my entire home without artificial light. So if it's a light issue, it might kind of be SOL. But this is a really cool plant because of the way it grows, particularly in nature. So before I get into that, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I like this ficus because it is branching a little bit. I think it was actually just a cutting of a mature branch of this plant. But, there's some shape to this. It's not just growing straight up as one stalk. There's a little bit of width to it. And yeah, it's branching a bit. It fits the space nicer than just the straight up and down elasticas to me. But the reason that this plant is so cool, to me at least, is it's one of the two ficus I have that could put in the like strangler category. So this ficus is epiphytic of some sort. You can correct me or help me in the comments. I don't know if it's hemiepiphytic, semi-epiphytic, pure, like true epiphytic, but this plant grows kind of in like the, like I'll say crotch of branches and stuff in other trees, or it grows up next to it, and it eventually strangles and encapsulates the entire plant, the entire tree that it's growing on. So if I can find some pictures that I can mention the source, I'll throw them up on the screen, but This plant is really cool because essentially it like sends aerial roots straight down from where it's hanging. Once those reach the ground, they get taut somehow and then will kind of, I think they either widen or continue to grow out until eventually it kind of resembles a trunk, and this plant will envelop the tree that it was using as a host. So I think I said that right. Please feel free to correct me. But this one's cool just because the way it grows in nature is kind of gnarly, pretty metal, and yeah, I like this ficus. Okay, the last ficus down here, and then we'll move on. This is a Ficus deltoidea. It's also called a mistletoe fig, and I was looking up why. This is also epiphytic or hemiepiphytic from what I researched, and because of that, and because mistletoe in nature is epiphytic and grows on other things, it gets called mistletoe fig because its growth pattern resembles that. So that's what I found. It may or may not be correct. This is actually, let me think about this before I say it. Yeah, this is my favorite ficus in my entire collection for a variety of reasons. The first is, if you were paying attention, you'll know I really want all my ficus to branch. This ficus has no problem branching for me. Actually, I bought it mostly like this, but it already kind of has a bonsai vibe to it, and I believe that this plant is used as bonsai. But yeah, it branches out. It resembles a small tree. The leaves are a really cool shape. Here, let's come over here. They're like kind of teardroppy shaped. Yeah, they've got like almost like speckles on them too, on the top. And then what's really cool about them is the bottom has this yellowish tint to it, and then all the leaves have these 3 black dots. It looks kind of like a little face. But yeah, I love this ficus. It's no fuss. It has actually put out a couple like figs, like the actual fruit for me too. I cut those off because having a pet, I don't want those ripening and dropping to the ground without my knowledge and her eating them. But, and I got to preface this, I'm not a biologist, I'm not a botanist, I'm definitely not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I'm usually pretty hesitant around ficus because, some of them, I think if you have a latex allergy, it can be upsetting to your skin. And then additionally, ficus, I believe, have some of those, I'm going to get it wrong, but those oxalate crystals. So, it will not be pleasant if your pet eats it. That said, okay, that was, again, I'm not a doctor, can you tell? From what I could tell, this ficus is actually used for medicinal purposes and is consumed. So, I don't know. I believe you can eat the fruit. I believe you can eat the leaves. I'm not going to. I'm not recommending anyone do it. Again, remember when I preface all of this, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a botanist. But from what I was looking up online, this one does have some medicinal properties and is consumed by people in some capacity. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. Do not eat this plant. If you're going to eat plants, grow other things like bay laurel and rosemary, which you can eat. But with that, that is all the ficus here on the first floor. So I'm going to cut and I'll take us upstairs. And now for the saddest ficus in my collection. Do you see it? It's hiding over there. Let's go check it out. So this right here, the saddest ficus in my collection, is a Ficus benjamina. It's the Anastasia variety, which means, and you probably can't really tell, that the variegation is on the outside. So dark green on the inside, light green on the outside. There is another version with that variegation reversed, and then there's a green form. This is not a happy ficus. So it's in a south-facing window. It's getting a ton of light. It is in entirely too small of a pot. So pretty much all of my ficus, and you may have noticed this if you were paying attention and you care for ficus, pretty much all of my ficus need repots. Almost all of them are in containers that are way too small for them. all of them except the deltoidea, and then potentially the last one that we'll see next. But this ficus desperately needs a repot. I'll just say it here on the channel, just to hold myself to it. I will be repotting some of my ficus, and I will make a video of some sort around it. That way I'll hold myself to it. But yeah, this is a Ficus benjamina. It's also called a weeping fig. It was beautiful. It still has potential. I'm keeping it around because, again, it has potential. It's done some branching for me, which you can see like right there. Yeah, again, a lot of potential. And then when you view it from down here, that was my knees because I'm old. You see a dying leaf because this guy's really not happy, but it's got a cool shape to it, and there's some cool structure to it. When I bought it, it resembled a mini tree, again, kind of like bonsai, but over time, because I keep it in really high light and it's run out of space in the pot, I have trouble keeping up with this one, so it desperately needs a repot. If I don't repot this one on camera, we'll do like a ficus repot at some point, unless you all tell me you don't want to see that. But yeah, this is my Ficus benjamina. Definitely needs a bigger pot. It still has potential. I'm keeping it around because I know what it can be, and I'm the only one holding it back. So yeah, that's the saddest ficus in my collection. And with that, we're not going to cut. Let's just go check out the last ficus, and that is going to be in my office. So we're back in the office. If you'd like to see more of the office or any more of the house, go check out some of my other houseplant tours. These are the only rooms with ficus, so these are the only rooms that we're going to be checking out today. But my Hoya tour, I believe, covers every room in the house, and I think just about all of them do. So yeah, this is the last room. This is my office. If you haven't been here, welcome. And this is the final ficus. I made a couple notes. I need the notes because I have trouble with this one's name. So this right here, this super cool variegated ficus, is the Ficus maclellandii. So Ficus maclellandii. I think I said that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is another one of the strangling ficus that I have, the stranglers. So that means that this one is some sort of epiphyte, hemi, semi, regular. Grows on other things, and it eventually overtakes them. And I believe this one also kind of encapsulates them. But this is just a really cool ficus, regardless of that, which I guess I have an affinity for, like the violent ficus. But just, this thing is no fuss, and these leaves are so damn cool. Like, this one right here is as big as my hand. And this is not a big plant. It's still in a 4-inch pot. Probably needs a repot. It might not, I don't know, but you know, when you look at this one straight on, it's just a super cool looking plant. The leaves are, I mean, in some cases, the leaves are nearly as long as the plant is tall. I know this plant eventually, if I care for it right and I keep up potting it, will be tree-like. I hope to get to that point. I think if I had to keep only 2 ficus, it would be that deltoidea, and it would be this one, which I'm not going to say its name again because I put my notes over there. But yeah, this one's no fuss. It's in a south-facing window. It's variegated, kind of like the Shivereana. All the variegation is different on each leaf. I'm also realizing, I will say this, my ficus are my dustiest plants. I dusted the ones downstairs ahead of this, did not give this one a dust. So I guess when it comes to like care tips, I will mention that the ficus are the dustiest plants in my house. They collect the most dust. But yeah, last cool thing that I wanted to talk about with this is, and I don't know if other ficus, I haven't seen other ficus put in leaves like this, but it puts in new leaves kind of like a corkscrew. So you can see like this new leaf is corkscrewed, this newer leaf is still corkscrewed, and they eventually straighten out. But it's really fun to watch them grow in like that. And yeah, I hope this one continues to branch out for me because I've got 2 branches going right now. 3, I guess. 3 branches going right now. 4. So it's branching. I hope it continues to branch. I hope that that trunk thickens. And this one I probably will repot just to try to encourage it to grow and get bigger because This one's really cool. If you come across this ficus or the deltoidea and the price is right, pick it up. I've only seen each of these in person the times that I bought them. So, and maybe I've seen this one that we're looking at right now once or twice more, but both of those ficus, at least when it comes to shopping in person, because I don't really shop online for plants, I don't come across the deltoidea and I don't come across this one that often or at all. So yeah, that's gonna be all the ficus in the house. So yeah, let's do a quick pan. Yeah, that's gonna be it. All right, everyone. So that's gonna be it today. Hopefully you enjoyed the ficus tour. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, either by my mistakes or just from some of the stuff that I know about ficus or I looked up ahead of this video. But as always, if you have any questions, if you have any additional tips, tricks, if I did anything incredibly wrong, please drop a comment. Let me know. I'm definitely here to learn. Definitely want to hear from all of you. And yeah, with that, my name is Kyle. This has been my channel, and I hope to catch you on the next one.